Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm bad at this. Okay, so today we're going to work a little bit more on Pythagorean Theorem. We kind of went through yesterday what to do to decide whether or not a triangle is a right triangle. So if you've got a triangle and the question is, does it contain a right angle? Let's say we've got 5 inches, 12 inches, and 13 inches here. And I want to know, is this a right triangle? To figure that out, I would identify A, B, and C. So smallest, middle, biggest. Okay? C is always my biggest. C is always my biggest length, my longest side length. And then I'm just going to make A my smallest and B my medium. So 5A, 12B, C is 13. And then I'm going to plug it in here, and I'm going to do 5 squared plus 12 squared equals 13 squared. And if all of this is true, if this side equals this side, then this does in fact contain a right angle. So 5 squared is 25, 12 squared is 144, 13 squared is 169. Of course, remember, squaring just means multiplying it by itself. Okay? So 5 times 5, 12 times 12, 13 times 13. 25 plus 44 is 169. So this is a right triangle. I have evidence to show I can put that square in there to show that that's a right angle. Okay? So I've got my legs are 5 and 12, and my hypotenuse is 13, because my hypotenuse is always my longest side, and it's always the side that's across from the right angle. Okay? So that's how Pythagorean theorem works. That's how we can tell if triangles are have right angles or not. Now, we're going to do a couple of problems where you have to use Pythagorean theorem to find missing sides of a right triangle. So I'm going to do let's say I give you this triangle. I know it's a right angle. I know that this is a right triangle because it's got the little square in the corner. That tells me that angle is 90 degrees. So I know that I can use my Pythagorean theorem, okay? I can use it to find the missing side length. The first thing I have to decide is which side length am I missing, okay? So the one that I don't know, the value that I don't know, is across from my right angle, okay? Always, that's the hypotenuse. So I'm going to go ahead and label that as C. If it's across from the right angle, it's C, okay? Now I just label the other two. The smallest one is A, the middle one is B. Now, I'm going to use what I have and plug it into the formula. Whatever I have, I'm going to plug in. So we've got 9 squared plus 12 squared equals C squared, because I don't know what C squared. I don't know C. That's the value that I don't know, right? So then I'm just going to do what the math tells me to do. 9 squared is 81. 12 squared is 144. I still don't know C squared. Okay? So then I'm going to do 144 plus 81. That gives me 225. So I know that C squared is 225. And what that means is that C times itself is 225. Okay? So I need to figure out what number I multiply by itself to get 225. Okay? I can guess and check. I can use a calculator. I know that 15 times 15 is 225. So I know that C is going to be 15. But just remember, and this is when it's going to come in handy, the opposite of squaring a number, to undo a square, use square root. So the square root of C squared is C, and the square root of 225 is 15, because 15 times 15 is 225, okay? So this side length is 15 centimeters. Now, that's all well and good. That's perfect until you have a missing side length that's not a whole number. So let's talk about what that means. So let's say I give you a right triangle, I tell you it's a right triangle, and then I tell you the side lengths are 4 inches 6 inches, and I don't know this one. And again, this is across from a right angle, so I know that this is C, A is 4, and B is 6. Okay? All right, so I'm going to plug it into my Pythagorean theorem. I'm going to do 4 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. I don't know C squared, that's why I'm leaving it C. 4 squared is 16. 6 squared is 36 because 4 times 4 is 16. 6 times 6 is 36. Still don't know C squared, so I'm going to pull this down. Okay? Then I'm going to do 16 plus 36, which I don't have a calculator right now, so let me just do this. So that gives me 52 equals C squared. Now, this is when I am going to have you guys use calculators. Now, we can estimate, and we'll work on that. I know that 52 is between 49 and 64, which means that it's going to be between 7 and 8. So 7 point something is going to be my square root, and we'll work on that. But before we get there, let's just use our handy dandy calculators, okay? I know my last step is going to be to square root both of these. So that's going to leave me C. And then to do a square root on your calculator, you hit second, and then you hit the x squared button, and it'll give you a radical. So second, and then x squared, because it's the opposite of x squared. Type in your number, 52, and press enter, okay? And it's going to give you, hold that thought. Hold on again. My calculator's in the wrong mode. Ugh. Okay, so it's going to give you like 7.21110, and it's going to go on forever, okay? Because it's an irrational number. Anytime you have a square root of a number that's not a perfect square, it's irrational. So I'm going to round it. I'm going to round it to the nearest tenth, which is 1 decimal place. So it's going to be 7.2. So this is about 7.2 inches. Okay? If you had rounded it to 100, then it would have been 7.21. 1,000th would have been 7.211. Okay? All right. Happy finding missing side lengths.